And welcome to the Blackhouse on 106.1 FM. You're listening here to Eddie and Leah today. We've decided wanted to do a bit of a pre-record, so we're not gonna be in live on direct on the airwaves today. So we've done this on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday show. So yeah, we just nipped into the studio after work. So what we're gonna do is it's just gonna be a bit of a music hour, and we're gonna do it probably kind of three blocks of 3 songs, and have a quick chat about those songs and anything about them, and then we're gonna jump back into some more songs and just kind of do it like that and just fill up the hour like that. And we just want to have like a good, we haven't done it in a while. We just want to have like a good showcase of just black talent here. And
some good music.
Some good music. It's come out in the last couple of weeks.
COVID was mad. They were dropping.
Yeah, everyone got their mixtapes. Everyone got their albums.
Yeah, music was just coming, dropping all around the mutu. Here I am saying it in Māori, te reo Māori. All around the mutu, people were dropping good music, and
fantastic.
Also across in good old Oz.
Yep. You have nothing else to do, so you might as well make an album.
Yep.
Okay, so our first block of songs, what we're going to do, we're going to have Day One, some Simba and Tasamaya, Love for My Sister from Queen G and Lady Lash. Lash. And then Letter to My Future Self by Mazboku and Kevin Posey.
Sounds like a plan.
Perfect, so we'll kick it off with Day One, some Simba and Tasamaya. Let's go.
With the day ones, they've been near since day one. Yeah. We here, chillin' with the day ones. And oh yeah, never forget the place I came from. Came a long way, looking back at all of them days gone. So every day that we alive, we feeling grateful to be here. Chillin' with the dead ones, and no never, I won't forget the place I came from. Came a long way, looking back at all of them days gone. So every day that we alive, we feeling thankful. On the season, let them grow, we built this from the ground up. Yeah, we was there from the beginning, way before the flowers. No, we all about progression, major keys surround us. We set some goals to get this gold, and nowadays we count it up. Now they wanna be down with us, telling me hold the bus, thinking they got my trust, but them and them get no love, cause I really don't need no others. Said my sisters and my brothers, they was with me at the bottom. Yeah, the fam, they know I got it. Living like kings and queens, got royalty inside our DNA. Looking so fresh, so clean, the team, we got the juice, we dripping, man. Remember when they used to ask us cause they didn't know our names, and now we walk into the building and you think we own the place. It's safe to say, came a long way from where we started out here doing all the things we used to sit and talk about. Look at us now, we did everything they told us that we wouldn't. Who'd have thought we'd turn the tables on them? Damn, it feels good to be here, chillin' with the day ones. And oh yeah, never forget the place I came from. Came a long way, looking back at all of them days gone. So every day that we alive, we feeling grateful to be here, chillin' with the dead ones. And no never, I won't forget the place I came from. Came a long way, looking back at all of them days gone. So every day that we alive, we feeling thankful to be here. Treat you just like you my blood if you a real one. Yeah, we go back to back, I got your back, ain't backing down for nothing. No discussion if they frontin' on the click, I gotta bust them. Take a bullet for my brothers, they ain't gotta tell me nothing, that's the code. If you know, you know, keep the circle close, never stand alone, always by your side, not above or below. If we see eye to eye, my house is your home, never on your own. If you down with us, yeah, that's the way we roll. Type of friends that I got been there since they died, been on the same block, they know a whole lot. See me on top, see me rock by to stop me from falling, that's what you call a teammate. If you don't know, then you won't relay. That loyalty, the only thing that get respect right these ways. That loyalty, the only thing that get respect. That loyalty, the only thing.
We ain't never turned back on loyalty. Moving away from where the haters be. We keep rising up above the ladder. We ain't where we started yet, and that's what matters, yeah. We know all our triggers, but that don't stop us pushing. We bigger, better in each other's company. We move that sunset on up runs on living like we royalty. Yeah, when day ones, right where we're supposed to be. Oh, right where we're supposed to be.
We gon' be here,
right where we're supposed to be.
Right where we're supposed to be. Know we'll be here, right where we're supposed to be. that's a dead one. With me when we started at the bottom, that's my dead ones. They the ones I go to with my problems, that's a dead one. Ones who got your back, no doubt about it, that's my dead ones. They the ones that I'ma ride or die with, that's a dead one. With me when we started at the bottom, that's a dead one. They the ones I go to with my problems, that's a dead one. Ones who got your back, no doubt about it, that's my dead ones. They the ones that I'ma ride or die with.
I got love for my sisters and it ain't no joke. I got love for my sisters till we end and broke. I would die for my sisters till we rise for success. And when she down, I wipe her tears on my chest.
Don't do this for the followers, don't do this for the likes. This is real for me, on the front line I fight. Directly affected by so-called elections. Go against the grain, come with all kinds of pain. Triggered and traumatized, fleeing borders. The only daughter, disorganized the order. Personality disorder, equipped full grip. Here comes a sister ship, kinship, blood thick. We a fam, sis.
Where you from? What's your name? Who your mob? Sis, you run the game, hold the flame. You a boss, bitch, play your cards right. With a deck and a girl king. Make a joker, pull a ace and you make him sing. Rock the blood, got me grinding for the mob. Sisters stand up like the Phoenix God. Black and proud like the deuces in the rain. The real light run up in your motherfucking face. I got love for my sisters and it ain't no joke. I got love for my sisters till we end and broke. I would die for my sisters till we rise for success. And when she down, I wipe her tears on my chest. I got love for my sisters and it ain't no joke. I got love for my sisters till we end and broke. I would die for my sisters till we rise for success. And when she down, I wipe her tears on my chest. Welcome to my mind, spitting 4 chambers. One for your psyche, got you hype like my fan beat. They call me Lash, daughter of the 7 seas. I worship the moons, 2 moons don't test me. I'm from the west coast, SA bite. Land down under, mad mother on the mic. The black Hellenic, fams from Rhode Island. I Google the woman warrior, no more silence.
Stepping in, I'm all in, no stalling. Answer to my calling, Queen Kibone, what you call me? I'm G Majesty, natural thing, magic bring high grade. I speak, you pay, pave the way, lay the stones, you flexing on, vexing on. Check again, who owns the throne? I'm still known, can't dethrone the microphone. Takes me to another zone, never leave it alone. Stress reliever, the healer, walk with only healers.
I got love for my sisters and it ain't no joke. I got love for my sisters till we end and broke. I would die for my sisters till we rise for success. And when she down, I wipe her tears on my chest. I got love for my sisters and it ain't no joke. I got love for my sisters till we end and broke. I would die for my sisters till we rise for success. And when she down, I wipe her tears on my chest. Goddess of the night, riding the skies, moving the tides, she's high. Goddess of the night, riding the skies, moving the tides, she's high. I got love for my sisters and it ain't no joke. I got love for my sisters till we end and broke. I would die for my sisters till we rise for success. And when she down, I wipe her tears on my chest. Oh yeah, I got love for my sisters, baby. Breaking it down right here in Sydney, Australia. Queen G, Lady Lash. Yes, yes. Sister shit, get on the sister shit. All the sisters out there, we let our powers combine. Witches, healers, Lash, innovators, queen. Yeah, it's all about alignment.
Yo, Q, there's been a couple developments since I last wrote. Someone splashing ink on the pad again as your pass so. Still praying you fix the plumbing for that cash flow and your spiritual body a mass growth. Do you got a protege? She peeping on your every step, every path you travel down and every flag you represent. They craft the composition of a life, so she the evidence of every decision you relished in. That's no embellishment, so I pray you hustle with your moral compass calibrated. Minefields of identity, I hope you help her navigate them. Anything she win, big or small, you better celebrate it. Even if she doesn't win it, all that she is validated. Lastly, if there's more, I hope you did the same for them. And put your money where your mouth is, homie, don't just pray for men. Keep chasing up every damn opportunity, don't just wait for them. Love God, wife and fam, sign you. Later, man.
Dear me, keep grinding and shining. You always gonna have haters, don't mind them. Don't worry about the drinks and the trips to the island. Just focus on the land and how you gon' buy it. Yeah, I'm from CPT, we built different. You pay me for that extra mile, I'll always go the distance. And keep on looking forward, don't get caught reminiscing. Cause you might catch a case if the ops go missing. Listen, I've been trying to learn from these mistakes before I make them. By looking at these people wearing masks. Jason, make sure you don't trip over the past. They can't break you and start looking into the future, that's so Raven. I know it's hard living all on your own, but try to remember the best part of being grown is getting to do you no matter what the future holds. So keep on looking up and build you a real home.
Black diamond made from the pressure. As you learn better, do better. Stay on your path to pursue G.O.D. You'll maneuver better. Everything else is added, including cheddar. You right at the cut, yeah, the precipice. Fight of a warrior, a heavyweight champion. Remember who you are, like your door, don't let the devil in. Hope you remain suave with a charm that is heaven sent. Bless you, kid. Mental health has been tough on you. Hope you learn how to heal from the heartbreak that will come in multiple ways, or the joy they will steal from. Plant a tree with a mustard seed, and now it's to grow. Believe it will. Stand in the shade and chill, son. That's fake talk. Hope you look fear in the eye while standing front of anxiety. Keep it day job. Now walk through it on your way to God. Pause.
Just about the only conversation I have time for. These self-talks on long walks on seashores. See, she's more than not theirs and not yours. Yeah, she's you when you were me. Now let's see. Things over here are pretty bleak sometimes, but I gladly take these L's so you can live your life. I got a lot of living left before I pass the baton. It's coming along, predictions I don't wanna make none Cause the universe inside of me knows you better than I do myself. And every time I stare away from you, it's clear. I get this feeling in my chest, you see. Whenever I'm not being the best of me, when we get closer there is clarity. And it seems like we get closer every day. And it gets clearer every day.
I'll tell you a little bit about Queen G.
Hello, we're back on the Blackhouse 106.1 FM. That was Letter to My Future Self by Masba Q and Kevin Posey. Tell us about Queen G.
Oh, well, when I was in Sydney, I actually met Queen G, and she's Ugandan, growing up in Australia. I'm not sure if she was born there or she moved there as quite a young person. She's one of, she started rapping, I think in the 90s. But,
okay.
but she's been around for a bit, you know,
Yeah.
and I can't be quite sure if it might be the 2000s. I just, sometimes I just think I'm not as old as I am. Sorry. So basically, she did send me some info about herself.
Oh, sorry.
But I know that what I know about her is that she's very much an activist and very in touch with things going on Indigenous community in Australia. And I thought that was one of the things I really liked about meeting her was that, she knows she's African. She knows where she's from. She knows who she is. And she doesn't see that as taking away from being involved with Indigenous situations like Redfern, the block that was happening over there. You know, that was a land issue where land was actually supposed to be kept for Indigenous housing, and then the community housing governance decided to sell it off to a corporation, and there was a lot of pushback from Indigenous community, and it was really awesome to see African people there standing side by side with their black brethren in Australia.
Well, that's one of the things that I think it'd be interesting to actually go into is dig into, because it's always that's for me that's one of those points where it's the different, like when you think of blackness, and it's almost what you have to look at it as like there's blackness in terms of say like Africa and the African diaspora, but then there's like a global blackness. Yeah, I remember I was talking to a guy from Melanesia, and it's one of those things. It was, and then I probably would have been 18 at the time, maybe, and it was just having a good chat with him. I must have been while I was working or whatever, and then it was one of those points, and he said to me, "It's like, yo, it's because he was like, yo, it's like we're just black people across the world," and it's like, yo, like that. It was one of those points I had kind of thought about it before, but that was the moment I was like clicked. I'm like, yeah, this is it's a global blackness, which I think is really interesting to tap into, and there's some really cool and interesting ways in which which I think I'll bring up in like an on the levels with Nani, because it's a really interesting way in which, and I guess sometimes there's something to unpick in terms of how Western media takes on, especially American media, takes on Australian Aboriginal characters and runs them essentially into African American narratives, which I find really interesting, and I will touch on that at some point, because that's something I'd really like to go into. Have you pulled up some stuff about Queen G?
Yeah, I have. Okay, so Queen G is both an industry and cultural leader and emerging African Australian icon. Queen G Caboni started her career with the explosive hip-hop outfit Killer Queens. And as an artist, an MC, a community advocate and curator, her commitment to her own artistry and to supporting emergent artists is formidable. And I've seen that. Like, while I was there, we had the historian. He just died recently. I can't remember his name, but he's a historian. He used to have a Facebook page where he put up lots of stuff about African history and African American history, and the connections. He was making connections across. So she was there, I think she actually helped organise that. Oh wow! And also just her activism. Her activism was something to be respected, because she was very much about like understanding that, there are black people in Africa, there are black people in Melanesia, there are black people in Australia, and, we need to stand together and not picking each other apart and, all that sort of stuff. She's often described as consciousness raising. She's a strong advocate for inclusion, social justice, human rights and women's representation within the music industry. And she currently sits on the advisory panel of the Australian Women in Music Awards. She's an experienced cross-cultural communicator, and she's in demand to host and contribute to a large scale of events like Sydney Festival, Africulture Festival, Ethics Centre Debate, IQ2 Marrickville Festival.
We need her on the we need her on the show.
We need to do like a little connect, right? Queen's developed and delivered workshops in Northern Territories and New South Wales, and that's another thing I noticed when I was in New South Wales. Not so much in WA, but in New South Wales, the black people that I met there, whether they were African or Torres Strait Island, descendants of the blackbirding slavery in the South Pacific, or whether they were Indigenous Australians, most of them were very active, like active in the community and active and politically astute, and really standing up for what they weren't getting in Australia. And it might be because of things like, Australia's a lot more overtly and, harsher when it comes to racial fairness. I mean, that's the way it is in Australia, And I think that with when you've got that struggle going on and it's very real and it's very in your face, I think people stand up a lot more. I think we've been in New Zealand, we're a little bit more relaxed about it because we feel like we've sorted racism when we haven't really. It's just like right beneath the surface, eh?
Yeah, I think it's one of those ones that I think, and you hear that kind of in the state, and I think when you hear it from Black Britons in the States, it's one of those things where it's like, I think it's almost those kind of differences. Yeah, it's almost those little differences. It's that kind of point where there's obviously always going to be those very pervasive and obvious kind of aspects of racism, but also there's one of those things where in the UK so much of it has similar thing. I think it's in the UK has this almost kind of, the narrative's been kind of shifted to be like, oh, it's not really right, and it's
I've noticed there's quite a similarity to the way they do it over there and do it here, and
it has started pushing into that underlying sort of side of things, as opposed to in the States where I think there's still sundown towns, right? Like that's just still a thing, like that's like not like in not necessarily like a really enforced segregation way, but it's just those still exist as a kind of concept.
Australia still has segregated towns, and when I was working in the outback in mining, sometimes we had to drive across across the outback to get back to Perth. And there were still towns that had bars that if you were Aboriginal, you weren't allowed to go in there, right? You had to be served from another counter around the side. Like there's several towns in Western Australia like that. They still, after the army invaded the Northern Territory because of some fake complaints about Indigenous people up there, they had curfews and things like that you have to be off the streets, right? So, like, what I noticed very strongly, and the sense that I got was that the way Australia does racism in Australia, especially in those outback areas, is very similar to the way America does it. And in fact, they borrowed a lot of the things that were to control black people in America and things. They shared those
I think it's
those
all
skill
those things
sets.
that you see across the board. Like, I think that's one of those things I think people forget is how connected, in so many ways, like Europe and America and Australia often were in that kind of front. Like when you look at like South Africa and the apartheid regime, like
that came from Australia.
Apartheid just pinched from everywhere. They were like, oh, we'll take this from the British, we'll take this from the Germans, take this from America.
We took the other stuff from
we'll take from Australia.
Yeah,
like
Queensland. They took a lot of it from Queensland.
It's one of those things. Like I think when it comes to, because I think in the post, and maybe this is like another history. This is another episode here. We're just, I feel like we always do these sessions like, oh, and here's another good episode. Yeah. But I reckon maybe this is something we need to come back to is, I guess, the history of kind of eugenics and social Darwinism and racism in that kind of,
in this part of the world.
In this part of the world, and also how that connects globally to that kind of global sort of thing. So I think that's something that we often forget is we have these connections to so many other places, and you know, our legacy of our racism is going to draw from those things.
I mean, a lot of people wouldn't know that they had slavery in the South Pacific, because when they got emancipation in America, that was a business model, and they moved that business model down to the South Pacific where the British weren't patrolling, right? And it was called blackbirding, and it's so recent that you can see it on film, right? It's on film. And basically, they went around, different islands in Melanesia and around the Pacific. There was one case in some Pacific islands as well, and basically they took those slaves to the Queensland sugar fields, and Queensland's nickname was the New Louisiana. That's how connected all of this stuff is. And New Zealand's participation in it was, we had a lot of whaling. And so those whaling ships converted to slave ships. And they were the ships that were going around the Melanesia and the Pacific, grabbing people from their islands and taking them there. We had something like 30 to 50 of these whaling ships involved. And this information is easily researchable. Right? But I think that we like to pretend that we aren't like that. We don't have anything to do with that. Recently, I think it was before COVID, there was actually a art thing regarding the blackbirding. Yeah, here in Wellington. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're just going to keep using these kind of episodes. I feel like we just keep generating like, oh, here's another episode. Oh, here's another episode worth of content. Yeah. But let's jump into some more music. Next up, we have Never Know from Richter City Rebels, Chris CK, and Miriam Ellis. H-Town.
Oh, I love this. This track. Let me tell you this track. The guy singing in the CK just had a baby not so long ago. I think it was just before COVID. And awesome rapper, awesome dude. You've got to meet him. And this is so New Orleans. It's so New Orleans, this track.
Perfect. So we have Never Know from Richter City Rebels. We have H-Town from Blaze the Emperor and Razor Bisa. And then we have Africa from D. Matthews. So let's get back into it. We have Never Know. Oh.
began to take a shine to you. It was so chillin', just a little silly, stealth slipping in and out of situations. The thrill of it, we didn't see the ground coming up to meet us. At the speed of sound, the seeds of our partnership seemed to fall apart a bit. What happened to the freedom we was feeling at the start of it? This 9 to 5 working life, I can't vibe with it. It's like a year's gone by in 5 minutes. It's like my mind's full of clouds all the time, and I can't fight this feeling that these hearts of yours and mine ain't built to take it. The capacity is lacking. So take my hand and keep your eyes up here on me, so you don't see the foundations cracking. For a while, maybe I can bring your smile back.
Take my hand and take the seat. Caught in conversation, but there's something about the bed look in your eye. Leave the words for tomorrow, 'cause see all our time is borrowed. But there's something about the feeling you can't hide. Let's go.
It's a go if she go both ways, 'cause she got friends with red rings that I could tempt for days. One look could make the marquee raise. For now, let's get on the same wave and proceed with a blaze. Say she got a man, but it ain't the same. And the goals that they had together never came. Like a window, he just staring through a frame. But they fell out of love when he made it quit drugs. And she said she ain't done nothing in a minute. But if I got some, then she with it. I get it, there's no need to waste time. Fastest way from A to B is a white line. So what's a white lie in the name of a good time? Important to pick a moment for you to unwind. Appreciate the true beauty of rising sunshine. So how about back to mine to sip some white wine?
Take my hand and take the seat. I'm caught in conversations, but there's something about the bed look in your eye. Leave the words for tomorrow, 'cause see all our time is borrowed. But there's something about the feeling you can't hide. Let's go get high.
H-Town, H-Town, H-Town. Yeah, me and Beezer on road, we'll let you know when we touch down. The way they been in the fold, I swear some bros and some letdowns. I guess they weren't meant for the road, I watch a story unfold. Shorty want pasta and lobster, I'll take her to Mercury Plaza. 2 cell phones for the work came straight from Ghana. When the pet touched down, I had a Kuna Matata. Ain't got no Prada, but I got the Prada, you know what I mean? Ay, say if you know, you know, you know, you know what I mean. Say if you know, you know, you know, you know what I mean. Say if you know, you know, you know, you know what I mean. Ain't got no Prada, but I got the Prada, you know what I mean? Ay, yeah, my do-rag fitted, H-Town, H-Town, H-Town. Me and Blaze on tour, AK shut the place down. The way she act in the club, no she ain't down for the get down. She wasn't meant for the bro, I watched the story unfold. Shorty want carry and walk her, took her to only hung her outlet. Girl, you don't know what that cost, that one ain't even come out yet. On the Europe tour, I yell Guten Tagen. I'm back in my groove, I'm back in the city, you know what I mean? Hey, say if you know, you know, you know, you know what I mean. Say if you know, you know, you know, you know what I mean. Say if you know, you know, you know, you know what I mean. Ain't got no Prada, but I got the product, you know what I mean? Hey, hey, say if you know, you know, you know, you know what I mean. Say if you know, you know, you know, you know what I mean. Say if you know, you know, you know, you know what I mean. Ain't got no Prada, but I got the product, you know what I mean? Ay. Nah, nah, nah. Nah, nah, nah. Africa, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Africa, yeah. 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 Yeah, 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 yeah. Africa is my home. Africa is where the state of mind is you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Africa is my home. Africa is where the state of mind is you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My beautiful Africa, where are you today? My people make you celebrate and jubilate. Celebrate the great kingdom. My people make you feel the sound of the real rhythm. Make you know the door yourself, just enjoy yourself. Yeah, 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 yeah. Africa, yeah, 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 yeah. Africa, yeah, 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 yeah. Are you ready for the ride? Are you ready for the ride? Are you ready for the ride? My people make you know the door yourself. Make you know the door yourself. Cause Africa number one. Africa number one. Africa number one. Africa number one. Yeah. Make you know they shy for body when you hear Africa. Put your hands in the ear. Make you know they shy for body when you hear Africa. Put your hands in the ear. Make you know they shy for body when you hear Africa. Put your hands in the ear. I say make you know they shy for body when you hear Africa. Put your hands in the ear. Africa, yeah, 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 yeah. Africa, yeah, 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 yeah.
And welcome back to the Blackhouse 106.1 FM. You're here with Eddie and Leah.
Oh, what was that?
That was the beginning of the next track. So that was D. Matthews with Africa.
And I've been listening to D. Matthews since I was back in Australia, and like he started, like the first time I heard him, he was rapping, but I really think he does Afrobeat so well. And would love for him to come to Wellington. When are you coming to Wellington, D? When are you coming to Wellington?
Honestly, I think this is the thing. Like, I think this is the plus of a music show. Is you just get to be like, oh, who's this person? Like, right, this person. They were just adding to our list. People like, and you're coming on the show, and you're coming on the show, and you're coming on the show. Like, if you don't, I don't know.
I don't know what happens to it. It's Halloween. Like, do we trick or treat them? Like, what do we do? But, you know, like Masbo Q, another guy, really outspoken. I love it when he gets on his political take on things.
Also, I think I follow him on Instagram, and he's probably one of the people who has like some of the best musical understandings of hip hop in a lot of ways. Like, I think he's the person who has probably the best music understanding that I've had, like in terms of, because that's the thing for me where like I had a conversation with my girlfriend last night, and it was talking about like the differences between, I guess, approaching music from like a kind of like where she's kind of approached it from like a kind of like theory and like piano, like that sort of, and that lesson sort of thing, where I've always approached it from a really, not just like from a, like I have an ear for music, I have an experiential, it's emotional, and there's that sort of, and it's really interesting. But I think Masbo Q, and we were talking about how it's interesting how we both have those different approaches to music, and I think Masbo Q is one of those people who blends it perfectly. He has the like an amazing theoretical basis,
Yes.
and a really good like experiential musical like feeling.
Yeah.
'Cause, like,
Yeah, and he has been to Wellington. He was at Moon last year. So has Joey Blaze. Joey Blaze came
Blaze
here.
the Emperor.
Blaze the Emperor. Yeah. He was. Why did I call him Joey Blaze?
I think, was that his old one?
Maybe,
Or-
I'm not sure. But yeah, he was here as well. They played Moon. Amazing artist. Momusi's been here as well. We haven't played him today yet, have we?
Yes. I think we played his newest track a couple of weeks back.
Yeah.
And he obviously had Riza Bezel. I remember when Riza came down to Dunedin. He did a couple of shows in
He's
Dunedin.
literally a local here, even though he was. I think he lived in Newtown for a period of time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. One of his videos features Newtown Park Flats.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just up by the zoo. So but he's a Hamilton. I think he
Yeah,
reps Hamilton.
He's Hamilton.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that I find interesting coming up from down south, because like even down south, everything's kind of like Christchurch from home is like 5 hours drive maybe, and that's not bad but not horrible. But it's like since coming up here, it's made me click. Oh, the country is a bit bigger. Because I think that's like a bit bigger than I kind of realized in terms of scale. It's almost that point of like we thought it was bad enough getting people down to Dunedin.
Really?
Like it was hard enough. Like you'd maybe get Riza once, twice a year.
Right.
And obviously it was the homegrown scene, but that's almost like there were like certain nights, so you'd get 2, 3 a year. And it's that thing, and other than that, people weren't really doing super regular shows. And I think that's what kind of comes up as like, it's almost that point of, it's almost made me feel like, okay, the country is bigger. Like,
And there's a massive scene in Auckland. And I think what happens in Auckland is that it's big enough to support itself.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing of touring becomes expensive. This was before the corona.
And I guess that's the
COVID
thing of like, if
situation.
you've got like a mega city, you probably, it's one of the things that you hear comedians talking about, how they do like a set at one comedy club and then zip 3 blocks down to another comedy club and just bounce between, and that was their kind of circle. That's how they cut their teeth as comedians. And maybe there's this kind of similar thing where if you're kind of Auckland based, you can just bounce from place to place to place within Auckland, Hamilton. I mean, even if you expand it to like Waikato as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be, I hope that when all this COVID stuff is past, that we get these artists down to Wellington, because that's one thing I've missed since I've come back, is that Wellington had a really awesome hip hop scene when I was living here in the 90s and 2000s. I mean, it was so easy to meet the international artists here, which you can't really do in Auckland. And I think we really missed that scene. Like, I don't know of any hip hop clubs here at the moment. I mean,
I think the thing is now it's not really club. I don't really feel like clubs have single. It's not like you're not going to get a drum and bass club. You're not going to get like. I think it's just going to be vaguely based on the vibe and the thing they want to do. I think you're never going to. I think maybe the hip hop club day of having like a specific place.
yeah.
Is kind of gone, which I suppose is sad. And I think the alternative to that is I think bars could almost better structure and clubs could better structure and say, okay, cool. And I suppose like give time to stuff. Like when I was in the UK, like my friends and I went clubbing, and the thing was you had clubs that said, okay, from 10 to 11, it's going to be like house and kind of garage, or your house from 11 through to 1, it was going to be dancehall and bashment and Afro beats and then from kind of 1 to 2 you'd be like, oh, and like bits of R&B and hip hop in there, and then from like 2 till close it was like drum and bass and garage and bass, and so it was you structured, you gave time to genres throughout the night, and I think I almost think that And again, it gave space for different DJs. And I think bars should do that. I think it should just normalize that again. I think that's something that benefits music scenes, is because you kind of know you can either be selective about what you go. So you can go, okay, cool. If I want to go listen to drum and bass, I go to this place at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
But also what you do is you give people option. You have the chance to say, well, you're in a bar and at the changeover from house to dance hall, and you sit there and go, well, I could leave or I could stay.
Yeah.
And I think it's a better way of exposing people to a range of genres.
Yeah, I mean, I really miss that about Wellington. I think they had a much bigger and wider range of genres back in the 90s and 2000s than they do today. I mean, I'm walking past bar after bar and it's sort of sounds like similar music coming out. But then, you know, a lot of the rap today sounds like similar music to me. So
I guess part of it is, and part of it is almost this thing where it's, maybe it's almost the margins, or that the risk of having a spot is so much more now for a number of reasons, whether it's alcohol, like overall alcohol abuse, or if it's fights or sort of thing, or just profit margin.
Yeah.
If the risk is so high now that you can't really afford to kind of be blasé about it, you need to have like a really polished, solid product across the board, and maybe music is part of that.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree.
Anyway, so speaking of music, we're gonna jump into our next session of music, and it probably might be the last. Might be one more track in after this. But so we have 3 tracks coming out. This is my international hour. So first up, this is my pick for songs that have come out recently, better than Kanye West and Drake, and this came out exactly the same week. This is Blow Your Trumpet. It's from Swindle, Nux, Akala, and Get. It's and Koj Radical. So essentially it's like Koj Radical and Akala. Like, look up Koj Radical, actually. I think you'd really like him. Kind of the pinnacle of like really good black conscious music, like conscious artists from the UK. So we have Blow Your Trumpet. Then we have Winners from Smoko Ono, Young Bane, and Chance the Rapper, I think.
Yes, I love Chance the Rapper.
And then we have If Only from Rachel Shinoriri. And yeah, so
Chance was my soundtrack driving across Australia.
Chance, I have some thoughts about Chance, but we can pick up on those after this. This is the track that made me like Chance the Rapper again.
Okay.
So we'll kick it off with Blow Your Trumpet, move into Winners, and then If Only. So this is Blow Your Trumpet.
Yo, they say no man is an island, but I left island, had to do my thing. If I sense any sign in your eye that you're trifling, it's by no fussing, no fighting. See, no, they drops the same already. See, no bust downs and chains already. Save your drip, made it rain already. Pissed off, come a cup, couldn't take more Henny. Let's discuss it, wanna tell lies to the public. Cool, if you like it, I love it. But true, I'm that guy in the function. Spit fire, leave shit alight like a Bunsen burner. Man, I grew beef, you don't want this burger. Money filthy, a disgusting earner. Word up, that's your luck, it's gone further. Do a man like Klashnikov, it's murder. Getting door on the front end. Can't take man for a prick, no phone, I don't need no horns, I blow my own trumpet. Thank roll for the funding. Only bro knows how it's rolled into hundreds. Lizzie gone roll pink notes in abundance. Did all my bicep curls and my lunges. True say you ain't yourself when you're hungry.
Coldest, I don't know how you ain't noticed. Without gets, there ain't no list. Your new shit's like my old shit. Your old shit was just soul shit. Hold it. Who wants smoke, I roll it. Who wants rope, I hold it. Let's play hangman. How do I know you ain't got no hearts? X-ray and scan. Them man haven't been transparent, but I know the minerals they've got missing. Indirect after indirect, just bare subliminals they've got written. I don't want to play fill in the blanks, I'd rather play fill up the bank. Easy, think up a plan. Meet me, pick up a shank. BP, fill up the tank. I was in the cold, no comfort, grade 8s in music. That's why I can blow my own trumpet. What you got? I got news for the public. What else? I got views for the pundit. I'm a sellout, I ain't got room for 100. I can only look down on people who gossip. I stay 22 rumors above them. Fuck them.
Yeah.
when the beat it just drops, so you screw in your face and you're blowing your top. A shot, no fighter could block. A weight, nobody could smart. Beats we are burning them, London to Birmingham. Course you have heard of them, fellas, the shellers were permanent. Jump on this plane, but this man for the turbulence. Plane we observing on so far above that it gets kinda burdensome. Someday you're not ready for shows that we're serving them. Food for your foot, now come swallowing, murdering, gurgling on your own blood and it's curdling. Your stomach is weaker than worthless. My word on it, I'm earning it. The scriptures I spit, they're just learning it. Street shit and deep shit, like ancient Egypt and free clips. Like read this and take in your teachers. If he flips, then break face of idiots. He's quick to make pace cause he's sick. And these pricks they gave chase, but he slips. Not a day in your life, I tell you these grips. Blood the grip on the track better than V6. And when I've written a rap, I tell you these dicks. They couldn't bust if they gave them free chicks. A whole load of crumpet. No bro, you don't blow your trumpet. I roll over dunces. I throw loads of punches. Dickheads are lunches.
Back, give me space, give me. Got God, got jar with me. Why the devil want war with me? Why the devil want spar with me? I been around for a sec. I need TLC like left eye. When shit got peak, man left eye. Now my heart turned black like West Snipes. Sniper, watch a man shed skin like Viper. Drop two bars when I like her. No coming back like Rikers. All that drip, but you're not impressive. Spark my thoughts, pen my lessons. Man can't talk too much about blessings. Them man there might think I'm flexing.
Nah, yeah. Check. When do you realize I ain't the same as these guys? Check. They try to ride a wave, got lost in all my space. I've been skating on nights, grinding night and day, just so we make it rain. Make it rain in any weather. Counting money in our laughter. We not in a no passer. I just light up my rasta. I drink my Hennessy straight. My mother and my team straight. I guess I make it real easy now, real easy to hit. See them I hate, them I go hate on you. Them debate, them I debate on you. Wanna flex, them I go flex on you. Wanna flex, or them is straight on you. Top down in the winter, that's what winners do. That's what winners do. New piece for the summer, that's what winners do. Yeah, that's what winners do.
I might been around the block now. Link with the gang, it's winter time, I put the top down. Ain't nothing changed, I need it right there when I touch down. Make it rain for you, I could throw it up now. Plain Jane on me, I might get a bust down. My main thing on me, she my only one now. Yelling free the guys every time I toast it up now. Money on my mind, every time I twist it up now. I'ma hold the team down, ain't no switching up now. Rockies in my new and Mary jeans, let them bust out. Keep this shit 300 at the top, it's only just now. I might AMG the Benz, leave them in the dust now. Had to cut off friends, I don't know who I could trust now. I was down, but I'm up and it's stuck now. Smoking no biscotti and gelati in the truck now. Shorty on my body and she probably tryna cut now, right now, yeah.
Them I hate, them I go hate on you. Them debate, them I debate on you. Wanna flex, them I go flex on you. Wanna flex, or them is straight on you. Top down in the winter, that's what winners do. That's what winners do. New piece for the summer, that's what winners do. Yeah, that's what winners do.
Man, I swear this shit is cutthroat. Even though I get no fucks though. They claim that money changed me, they didn't even like me when I was broke. Say I'm sleeping on them, they ain't like me when I was woke. Say I'm falling up, but you ain't like me when I was dope. Learn to leave my trophies and my stickers inside the den. Learning that a ring without the tickets is still a win. Not just who was shooting, but who was hitting in the gym. Do this for my mama and my daughters and my kin. More specifically, my father and my brother and my wifey and my auntie Carolyn. I used to give a fuck, I used to care about opinions. Then I took back all my fucks and started taking care of them. I had to start moving different, like a solo. Had to go and get my distance, get my dolo. No, it's no association, I'm a polo. No, it's no association, I'm a polo.
Them I hate, them I go hate on you. Them debate, them I debate on you. Wanna flex, them I go flex on you. Wanna flex, or them is straight on you. Top down in the winter, that's what winners do. that's what winners do. New piece for the summer, that's what winners do. Yeah, that's what winners do. Oh, yeah.
It goes like... Sorry. No. It goes like this. I never see the world in color. I never seen the world in color. I pray for things I can't afford. I never see the world in color. I pray for things I can't afford. Cars and clothes and items on the checklist. Living in a world full of cravings. An addiction where no one is bored. Funny how ungrateful you can be when there's people hungry. People dying every day and your life is lovely. A borderline obsession for a life to be filled with money. If only I never see the world in color. I pray for things I can't afford. Let's go out in cold with no electric. Waking up and have nothing for breakfast. An affliction of just being poor. It's funny how ungrateful you can be when there's people hungry. People dying every day and your life is lovely. A borderline obsession for a life to be filled with money. If only I never see the world in color. I pray for things I can't afford. Things I can't afford.
And we're back on the Blackhouse, 106.1 FM. That was If Only by Rachel Shinoriri. And what else is there? We had winners from Chance the Rapper, Young Bane, Smoko Ono, Joey Perp, and Chance the Rapper.
And I'm still in love with Chance the Rapper.
And Blow Your Trumpet from Nux, Swindle, Gets, Koj Radical, and Akala.
When can Akala come to New Zealand again? I really would like him to come to New Zealand again.
He'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's a well needed thing in Wellington. Actually, like his breakdown of the black experience in the UK and how many similarities there are right here in New Zealand, it would be really interesting to have him here.
So, well, if he messages me back on Instagram, then that would be like helpful. Like,
Have you been tagging him?
Perfect. This is gonna be a tag now.
Okay.
So yeah,
awesome.
I'm gonna do my second round of like I'm have to send something off the Blackhouse and be like second round of like messaging famous people.
Yes.
Just to be like, please come on a show.
That would be so cool.
Okay, so obviously this has been our music hour. Blackhouse sounds of the kitchen.
Yep.
Yeah, so we've had a great week this week, and we hope you guys have had a fantastic one as well. So we're kind of wrapping up coming to the end of the show. We just hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll post up the music list and all that sort of stuff. So have a great week. This has been the Blackhouse on 106.1
We're back
FM,
and we're black, y'all.
Wellington Access Radio. This has been Eddie and Leah. We'll catch you all next week. Peace.
Peace out.